Monday like no other because this one puts the Browns in the playoffs for the first time in nearly 2 decades. Everything you need to know about what's next, from the big game to the playoff swag you have to have.
I really am imploring people to be patient and to understand that it takes time to move this, but it's coming.
Vaccine dilemma. We finally have that coveted shot. So why is it taking so long to get it into people's arms?
You can do it. Get started. 2021 has got to be better than 2020.
And it's Money Monday. Our expert tells us how to start the new year off on the best financial foot. From the apps you should download to help you save to what you should say to your boss to lock in that raise.
And new year, new you. Could a chiropractor help you achieve your weight loss goals? We visit one to find out. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Happy 2021, everyone. Thank you so much for choosing What's New. I'm Betsy Kling, broadcasting from home. And hi, Jay, who's back in the studio again. I always say, hi, Jay, when Jay rolls into the newsroom, so I miss getting to say that. But just so everybody is aware, I'm going to stay home probably for at least the next 2 weeks. We're going to keep an eye on how the post-holiday surge is going to be going. So got to keep the family safe.
Got to stay safe. That is priority number one. Betsy, we begin What's New today with another Victory Monday. But this is not just any other Victory Monday. We're getting used to these around here. This, though, is all new. This is a playoff Victory Monday, and it was 18 years in the making.
They're in victory formation, and Baker Mayfield takes a knee, and the clock will wind down. An amazing story. The Browns will get their 11th win of the year. They'll go to 11-5, and they're going to the playoffs.
Yes, they are. And what a moment yesterday at First Energy Stadium as the Browns hold on to defeat Pittsburgh 24-22. Boy, it was hairy there for a while. The two teams will do it all over again Sunday night from Pittsburgh this time. You'll watch it right here on Channel 3. Let's bring in the voice of the Browns now, Jim Donovan. Jim, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for capturing that moment yesterday. A tremendous call. You're the only guy that could have brought that moment to life like you did. And by the way, to all of our viewers out there, if you haven't seen it yet, go to our website, WKYC.com, and watch Jimmy watch the Browns punch their playoff ticket. Jimmy, I enjoyed watching you as much as I actually watched enjoying the game. It's contagious. It was so fun. And no one calls a football game like you do. Well, here we go, though, Jimmy. It's never easy with this club, and it wasn't easy yesterday as well. Tomorrow will be 18 years to the day since the Browns' last playoff game. You remember it, that gut-wrenching 36-33 loss at Heinz Field to Pittsburgh. Their game Sunday will be a football mulligan 18 years in the making.
Boy, it will be. It's amazing. It's always the Steelers. I mean, I have to tell you. They came back in 1999. First game, the Steelers. First playoff game, Steelers. Next playoff game, Steelers. Here we go. I got to tell you, Jay, that was a heart stopper yesterday, and I was reaching for air. I was very, very emotional when the realization that the Browns finally did it and got into the playoffs. It was sensational. Something I'll never ever forget, and I was proud to be a part of it. All right, let's go to yesterday. 24-22. It was a nail-biter. It was everything. I mean, it was supposed to be that the Steelers, had nothing to play for, but, man, I'll tell you what, they played the Browns right down to the final tick of the clock. Nick Chubb got it going with that 47-yard touchdown run, and with it he went over 1,000 yards, and they raced out to a 10-0 lead, but Pittsburgh kept hanging around and got to within 2, and that failed 2-point conversion, and then the Browns recovering the onside kick and running out the clock with Baker Mayfield getting the final first down. That was it, and then you pinch yourself. You're in the playoffs. Are you ready to be in the playoffs?
I have guys on the staff that have won Super Bowls. We have players that have won Super Bowls. So guys have been there, and they understand once you get here, you have a chance. And, I reminded the players of that today. There's 14 teams in this thing. So you got a chance.
Absolutely. That's all you want. You want a chance. Sunday night, as Jay told you, the game is right here on Channel 3. The Browns and the Steelers from Heinz Field with kickoff at 8:15. And yes, the Steelers will have all of their starters ready to go back in that game. Big Ben will be back. T.J. Watt will be back. Cameron Hayward will be back, too. Jay, if I'm the Browns, though, I approach the game the same way a few weeks ago they approached that Tennessee Titans game. They went into that game and they went right at it. I think too many times we have gone over to Pittsburgh and just tried to kind of stay in the game. I think you have to go take the game, and they certainly have the offensive power that they can do that. That would be the way that I would go into this game on Sunday night.
Well, Jimmy, from your lips to God's ears, you're the new head coach of the Browns, at least for 1 week, because I love that approach. But I got to tell you, and I hate to even bring this up because, man, what a year and what an accomplishment. But as I'm watching yesterday, it was extremely unclear to me why Nick Chubb wasn't a bigger part of this game plan. 14 carries, none in the fourth quarter until he had 2 rushes on that final drive to kill the clock. In fact, that huge 3rd and 3, Jimmy, when Baker took the sack that knocked the Browns out of field goal range, Nick's nowhere to be seen. He's on the sidelines. Any idea why he wasn't a bigger part of this game plan?
Well, I know at times, and certainly it happened yesterday, they get into a situation where they alternate series. So Chubb played the first series of the game and had the big touchdown run. And then the next series, he was not in there. And so I said, oh, they're going to go back to this. There was one point during a radio commercial break, Doug Deacon said to me, and we both noticed it, that Chubb was in and out a lot. And that he said, do you realize Nick Chubb is averaging over 8 yards a carry, and he's not in the game? Jay, I have to tell you, it was puzzling. I will tell you this, he's got to be in the game, and in the game a lot Sunday night.
Well, he's clearly their best offensive player. It was just mystifying to me as to why when the game is on the line, your best guy's got a coat on and he's on the sidelines. Hopefully we'll see a lot of number 24 next Sunday night. Jimmy, thank you very much. Sunday's going to be magical indeed. Now, the Browns game will be right here, Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Watch the TV. Listen to Jimmy. It's the best way to do it.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Jay.
You bet.
Oh, we are so excited to have the game right here on Channel 3, certainly. And now on your feed at 5, since the Browns are going to the playoffs, we have got to have some new swag to celebrate it with. And this is it. We have T-shirts here in Cleveland, don't we? And our Romney Smith got all the details behind the new shirt. Romney, I have a feeling these are selling kind of quickly.
They are. They're selling pretty fast online. In fact, GV Designs tells me that they're printing these in multiple sizes all day long. That way they are ready to sell them all tomorrow morning in store. So here's the background on the design of this shirt. The GV Art and Design has worked with players all season long to design a shirt every time the team won just for players. So they've been on a roll. But since the Browns-Steelers win would have clinched a wild card spot, the owner tells me as a diehard Browns fan, he got a little superstitious.
We made sure they kind of wanted to have something ready, and I'm like, all right, but you guys cannot open it. You can't even see it. I didn't even show them they had no idea what the design was. So I wrote on the box, do not open until 4 p.m. So I was like, this can't jinx it. We're going to take all the jinx out of it.
Taking all the jinx out. So, of course, the Browns won, and we saw this picture of the players holding up the playoff pound shirt in the locker room. GV has received nonstop calls and messages about the shirt. So here are the details. You can buy the shirt in store starting tomorrow morning at one of their multiple locations, and they will be updating inventory online. Now, you can also order it online. Just keep in mind that shipping is still a little slow, so don't expect to get it this week. Now, coming up at 6, you have to stay tuned because I asked him about the Steelers game that's coming up that you can watch on Channel 3. What he had to say about a potential new shirt. You don't want to miss that.
Oh, I bet he's got some planning going on, certainly some quick drafting. And boy, if he doesn't want to jinx anything, you can imagine he's got all kinds of his superstitions lined up and ready to go. And
oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Romney,
yeah.
We all need to have our lucky socks on, that's for sure. All right, Rob, we're looking forward to hearing more about that on What Matters Most at 6. Well, it is time now, everybody, to switch gears and pivot to the latest on COVID-19. Within the last 24 hours, 5,942 cases were reported in the state. That's the lowest daily number reported in Ohio in the last 7 days. It's also 1,500 less than our 21-day average. Jay.
Certainly good news, going in the right directions. Our other key data points, our daily positivity rate down again. It's now at 14%. Hospitalizations, though, ticked up more than 150 over the last 24 hours. Now there are just over 4,400 COVID-19 patients statewide. And sadly, 67 more Ohioans lost their lives to COVID-19. That number is 8, bigger than yesterday's number. Now, we are 4 days into 2021, and as a country, we are way behind our vaccines projection. Remember, at this point, we were supposed to have 20 million Americans with that first of 2 shots. Instead, 15 million doses have been delivered, but only 4.6 million have actually received the first of those 2 shots. Here in Ohio, nearly 160,000 have received their first round of vaccine, and soon the second shot will be given to mostly healthcare workers. Hospitals are taking care of their own, but county health departments are tasked with covering others that fall into the first round of shots. Cuyahoga County set a drive-through vaccination center in Westlake aimed at covering EMS and other first responders.
About 2,000 EMS in suburban Cuyahoga County, another 1,000 in the city of Cleveland. So that's one sector, let alone the whole range of people that care for developmentally disabled populations and all the staff that serve them, all the healthcare providers, all of the allied people who provide support for with people with substance abuse, and a whole range of healthcare providers that are independent.
More vaccine is expected to be delivered to Ohio this week, and as more vaccines receive emergency use authorization, the supply will continue to increase. Hopefully, the states will begin to develop a program where they can administer these vaccines quickly enough so they don't run out of storage space. AstraZeneca is the next vaccine expected to receive approval, and by early spring, Johnson & Johnson should begin rolling out their vaccine as well. It's planning to submit for FDA approval next month.
Now we do have some breaking news to tell you about. Late this afternoon, Governor Mike DeWine signed the Stand Your Ground bill into Ohio law. He released a statement saying, "I have always believed that it is vital that law-abiding citizens have the right to legally protect themselves when confronted with a life-threatening situation." He went on to say he wishes that the legislature had added provisions to make it harder for dangerous criminals to illegally possess and use guns. The bill removes a legal requirement for people to attempt to retreat from a confrontation before shooting to kill when in self-defense. The NAACP pushed back on this bill, saying that the changes are problematic. Well, everyone's still ahead for us this evening. What's new in 2021? We have some tricks to fattening your savings this year. And then Beyonce shares never-before-seen photos of her kids. We'll see you on the flip side.
Right in the middle? Okay. Okay.
Well, all week long, we're going to look at what's new in 2021. From new tech and medical advances, fashion and sports, there's a lot to look forward to this year. And today we're starting with finances. On this Money Monday, Laura Queso is showing us 3 new tricks to fatten that bank account.
You can do it. Get started. 2021 has got to be better than 2020.
She's not kidding. 2020 was a tough year for many financially. So Julia Glum, a reporter for Money, is sharing tips on how to get our finances on track. She says, just start with an emergency fund.
The recommended amount to have in your emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of basic expenses. We're talking rent, bills, car payments.
And no, friends, that trip to Hawaii is not an emergency. Next on our list, the 50-30-20 rule.
50% of each paycheck should go toward your basic living expenses. 30% should go toward discretionary spending. That's the fun stuff. And 20% of each paycheck should go into savings. Now, all of that said, if you're just starting out saving, the most important thing to do is just to get started. It does not matter if you can't put away 20% of each paycheck. Put away what you can, and then slowly increase it over time.
Now you just have to remember to transfer your money.
The idea is just to set it and forget it so you can't mess with it.
Don't worry, there's an app for that.
One good option for automation is the app Capital. One good app for specific savings goals, you can use Mint. I know Ally also allows you to label savings buckets. Also, there's a service called Envelopes with an M that'll help you do that.
Just make sure you read the fine print before giving anyone access to your account. Once you've got that emergency fund, it's time to start saving for the big stuff, like trips, home improvement projects, or even concert tickets. Whatever it is, be sure to label the account.
We can even get super specific. We can say Julia's Jonas Brothers concert fund, Julia's Taylor Swift concert fund. Really, you want to break it down so you can have that image in your mind of what you're saving toward.
Wow, saving money to take a trip. Can you imagine, everybody? We're going to get to travel again at some point. Well, in the next half hour, Julia is going to show us how to get more money at our current job and negotiate our bills. Jay?
Yeah, I hope we can travel again. My goodness, I think that's the thing I've missed most about 2021. Okay, so Matt's in now with weather. Matt, Happy New Year to you. Great to see you again. It's been a minute. Your weather word today, I looked at your forecast, so you should be able to just slide this in seamlessly. Your weather word today is mulligan, which if you're not a golf fan, a mulligan essentially is a do-over. You get to try to hit a shot over again. The Browns get a mulligan when they play the Steelers on Sunday night. 18 years ago was their last playoff game against the Steelers. So mulligan is your magic word.
Got it. And I appreciate the definition there too, Jay. If you could include that with every single word that you give me, that'd be great. But I'm a putt-putter. I understand mulligan for sure. So we'll get that in there. And I remember 18 years ago, I remember that game as well, very hardly. So let's talk weather. Boy, it's been just kind of soggy outside in terms of some of the drizzle we had over the weekend. We had some of the snowflakes. Today it's not soggy, it's just gloomy. We've got the clouds around, a couple flurries. I really had to crank the radar to see any of those. But the bigger picture, it's pretty quiet across the country. We've got a system off the East Coast, but this system is the one that we're going to track in really tonight and tomorrow. You can see a couple snow showers on the leading edge of that. It's not really a very vigorous front. In fact, it's just a wind shift. There's not really that much cold air back and behind it. So you can see that as that moves in tomorrow, it'll kick our winds out of the northwest behind it. But really a very quiet pattern across much of the country. All eyes turn off towards the west, though. The Pacific Northwest getting hit real hard right now. Anywhere from 2 to 3 feet of snow in the mountains. That system's going to split in two. Part of it's going to go north, part of it's going to go south, and that's what we'll watch this week. But both those systems look to miss us as we get into the extended forecast here on the next week. National Design Mart hour by hour forecast. So as we go through time, you can see the clouds hanging around, perhaps some flurries around overnight tonight. Temperatures generally steady in the 30s. That's where we've been over the last couple days. It's just been steady as she goes. We call this Cleveland crud season, right? Those clouds just not going away. Temperatures tomorrow, you can see remaining in the 30s, but we do kick off a couple snow showers around here as that system comes through. And again, that will come with a wind shift as well. but not really that cold air behind it. We're not going to deal with a lot of that. So if you enjoyed today's weather, you'll get a mulligan tomorrow as well as temperatures. We're going to do it all over again. In fact, your Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast, you can see 30s over the next couple of days. We're actually going to bring in cooler air as we get towards Friday. Clouds, clouds, clouds. We may see some sunshine around here by Friday and Saturday, and then next week we'll watch. It gets a little bit more active around here by Monday, so we may have some snow in the forecast then. But until then, we've got lots of clouds, Jay, and we're going to stay in this pattern. So if you could find your own light somewhere at home, I think that's where we're all going to find it.
Yeah, you might get sunlight in a bottle. Take your vitamin D. You're not going to get it naturally. All right, Matt, thanks. We'll see you in the next half hour. Bets?
Well, coming up for us here on What's New, Justin Bieber is testing out a new look in his new music video. And then...
I believe in the men in this room. I believe in this group. That's a great...
Oh, the Browns released a new hype video ahead of our first playoff game in nearly 2 decades. Of course, it is our Worth the Watch. We'll be right back. What do James Corden, Justin Bieber, and Beyonce have in common? Well, they're just some of the celebrities kicking off 2021 with some big moves, and they are also in today's pop break. Here's Kira Cotton.
James Corden has had enough when it comes to his struggles with weight loss. For the past 10 to 15 years, the 42-year-old admits to having the same goal at the start of every year, and that the repeated process is starting to get him down.
I'm fed up with the way I look, I'm fed up with being unhealthy, and this is it. This is the year I'm doing it.
But hoping to make a change, the Late Show host is teaming up with WW, formerly known as Weight Watchers, to tackle his goals in 2021. And as part of their partnership, WW is providing 100,000 digital memberships to those who want to make a change but lack the financial resources. And Justin Bieber is starting off the year with a clean slate, literally. In the music video for his new single, Anyone, Bieber covered all of his tattoos on his arms, legs, torso, neck, and face. The 26-year-old singer took to Instagram to show fans the process with a time-lapse video. The Anyone video was released New Year's Day following his virtual New Year's Eve performance.
If you feel insignificant, you better think again.
The Queen Bee is sending us a reminder in the new year that we're all important and serve a purpose. In her annual year-end wrap-up, Beyonce gives us a behind-the-scenes look at her life, including her work with COVID-19, the Savage remix, her Ivy Park releases, and the success of her proteges Chloe and Halle. But what fans most appreciated were the never-before-seen pics of her children Blue, Rumi, and Sir. It's become somewhat of a tradition for the entertainment mogul to only share these images on special occasions. And of course, it's Victory Monday. The Cleveland Browns are headed to the playoffs for the first time in 18 years. Celebrities like LeBron James, Drew Carey, and countless others all sent their congratulations to the team. Digital anchor Stephanie Haney will have more on their comments coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you guys.
All right, Kiara, thanks. Oddly, I have to do the same thing before every show. I have to pour makeup on my face to hide my face tattoos, just like Justin. I have a better idea. Don't get them in the first place. But that's just my commentary for the day. That's his thing, all right. Okay, there is so much hype, obviously, around the Browns after yesterday's big win against the Steelers. So today's Worth the Watch is part of the Browns' official hype video. Check this out.
Fires, caught, touchdown! Throws right, end zone, touchdown! Higgins drives up the field, and here he comes! There goes Chubb! Nick Chubb is back! They're gonna hit him and knock him down! Wow, what a play! Touchdown, he's in! The Browns are winners again! This is getting to be fun! Is that enough? Is that all you got? You got more?
I want more. In fact, Betsy, after I watched the whole thing on our website, I was ready to suit up and try to sack Ben Roethlisberger myself. Mission accomplished.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm hyped.
And I just love that they use Jimmy's voice because nobody is going to tell that Brown story like Jimmy does, you know. And yesterday, I'm the person, I turn off the TV sound and I have the radio on. There's a little bit of a delay and sync, but it's so great to hear him. And at the end, you could just, when Jimmy's speechless to everybody, that's a really big deal. And when he's like not talking for 10 seconds, technically that's him being speechless. It was fantastic. And you knew he was really starting to understand, oh my gosh, this is happening.
It's been a long 18 years for Jim, calling a lot of bad football too. If you haven't seen the video of Jim making that call, go to the website. It is worth every second of it. Okay, still ahead on what's new. 18 years is a long time. We're going to take a look at just how much our world has changed since the last time the Browns were in the playoffs. Here's a hint. Stamps were only 37 cents. Then a money expert shares tricks to increase your salary and negotiating your monthly bills. That's interesting. And it's time to give yourself a little self-care. Jason Fraser discovers the health benefits of going to a chiropractor. It's all ahead on What's New.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
It most certainly is, and welcome to the second half hour of your Monday edition of What's New. If you haven't heard, where have you been? The Browns are in the playoffs. With Betsy Kling, I'm Jay Crawford. Betsy, Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to everyone at home. And I'll give you this, Betsy. I try to make one prediction every year, and I'm sure this one's is gonna be right on the money. Only one I'll make. 2021 will be a whole lot better than last year. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Well, Jay, I make predictions a lot. And I will tell you, I also think 2021 is going to be a pretty darn good year. Hopefully things are just going to be better, and we'll keep everybody informed and moving forward. Most certainly, that's what I think everybody's ready for now. And I will tell you, coming up at 6, I have some good news as far as those forecasts go, too. So it's not necessarily the weather conditions, but the overall picture. Some good news, and I'll explain what that is coming up. I know, right? That's a good tease.
A good tease.
All right, well, let's get you caught up now with 3 things that you need to know this hour. We begin with some sad news, unfortunately. According to USA Today and Johns Hopkins University, December was the worst month for COVID in the U.S. Our country reported 6.3 million new infections. That's a 40% jump from November. It's believed that 1 American died every 35 seconds from the virus. 77,572 Americans died in just the last month. That is the most ever in a single month. Meanwhile, over in the United Kingdom, they've started administering the AstraZeneca vaccine today. An 82-year-old dialysis patient was the first person there to receive it. The vaccine was sent to a few hospitals first. It will soon make its way to more medical practices, and the company expects to get its U.S. trial results later this month. And All Care Insurance is now partnering with university hospitals right here in Northeast Ohio. The Canton-based health plan insurer is now a bigger part of the UH network. This agreement gives thousands of members access to UH's primary care doctors, specialists, and more. Jay.
All right, Betsy, the Browns are, of course, our top talker today after clinching a playoff spot for the first time in 18 years. 18 years. Sometimes it feels like 180 years. We asked Will Ewick to show us just how much has changed since the last time the Browns made the playoffs.
It's been a long and heartbreaking road for Cleveland Browns fans. You have to go back to 1964 for the team's last championship. And although you don't have to go back quite that far for their last playoff appearance, the 2002 season was some time ago. You'd have to be at least 18 years old right now to say you were alive the last time the Browns made the playoffs. Coincidentally, they also faced Pittsburgh that year, and it didn't end well.
The Steelers have won and they'll advance.
That's all in the past now, but just how far in the past is it? Well, in 2002, a gallon of milk only cost $2.75. A dozen eggs ran you $1.03. A postage stamp was 37 cents. And a gallon of gas was $1.35.
You don't need diamond rings or 18-karat gold.
American Idol, The Bachelor, and Dr. Phil all made their debuts in 2002. The West Wing and Friends cleaned up at the Emmys. Pierce Brosnan was who you thought of when someone mentioned
James Bond.
I keep on falling.
Alicia Keys won the Grammy for Song of the Year with Fallen.
And the Oscar goes to A Beautiful Mind.
And A Beautiful Mind took home the Oscar for Best Picture. Some big stories that year: coal miners trapped and rescued in Pennsylvania. Kmart became the largest retailer in American history to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
The state of our union has never been stronger.
President George W. Bush gave his famous Axis of Evil speech during the State of the Union. Around the sports world, Salt Lake City played host to the Winter Olympics. Carson Palmer won the Heisman, but it was the Ohio State Buckeyes who won the BCS championship over Miami. And the Cavaliers finished 17-65 that year, helping to secure the first overall pick, which would land them
LeBron James.
A lot has changed since 2002, and for Browns fans, they're hoping the outcome of a wild card weekend in Pittsburgh changes as well. Will Ewick, 3 News.
Man, how quickly you forget, right? 18 years is a lifetime, and it's an entire, adolescence.
Just that video, it was all standard definition. It looked terrible.
Right? It did. There's days I wish we could go back to standard definition, but I digress. I tell you what, Jay, what were you doing in 2002? That's the question I posed to you.
So 2002, I was working in Tampa, Florida. It was the year before I went to ESPN, and I covered the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all the way to their Super Bowl victory. So hopefully 18 years later, I can watch the Browns win their first Super Bowl ever. It'd be fun.
Well, I was in Jacksonville, Florida. I had no children, and I golfed in the winter. I mean, I can't say it was all bad.
No.
The golfing in the winter was definitely a bonus. The not having a children, little did I know the joy that I was going to get to have in the next 18 years. So certainly. And for those who are curious about it, the winter of 2001, 2002, we had 45.8 inches of snow at Cleveland Hopkins Airport.
Oh, wow.
Just saying.
Okay.
I know, right? All right. Well, earlier in the show, we talked a lot about steps to help you save in the new year. And now we're going to talk about how to get more money at your current job and negotiating your bills. Did you even know you could do that? If there's anything 2020 did for us, it was give us more time to learn extra skills. Julia Glum, a reporter with Money Magazine, says if you took an online course related to your profession or to help you learn to work remotely, tell your boss.
If you learn, say, a social media marketing skill, or you learn a new programming language and those are relevant to your career, then you can take those to your employer and say, hey, look at what I've been doing. Isn't it time for a raise? And they might be more likely to give it to you because you're now a more experienced, go-getting type of employee.
So glad to hear that, because within the next 14 days, my annual review is due. Going to be typing that up for sure. Well, now to negotiating your bills. Think about what you want versus what you need, and then you can use that as leverage. Glum recommends doing your homework to see what other providers offer. Then call your service to cancel because you found something new. Chances are they are going to want to keep you, and so keep asking what else they can do to lower your monthly payments. Do a little bit of back and forth. The key to this one, you gotta be nice. Don't be a jerk. Don't yell at the people on the phone because they really are the gatekeepers for you. Doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna give you everything you want. You can also try doing this with rent too.
See what similar apartments are going for in your area and use that to build a really strong case for why they should knock $100, $200, $300 off of your monthly rent. You're also going to want to include in that package some stuff about what a great tenant you are. If you've been paying your rent on time for the last 2 years for your place, make sure they know that.
It's a business deal, and if they can't knock money off your rent, maybe you can ask for perks, right? Parking, gym access, you never know. They might be able to help you out in other ways.
You know the saying, Betsy, you don't get it if you don't ask for it. It doesn't hurt to ask. Next up, what's new? Heading into the new year pain-free, our Jason Fraser discovers the health benefits of going to the chiropractor in his latest The New You segment. Then, did the Browns troll an announcer with their playoff clinching play? We have the scoop in Clicking in Cleveland. And Matt Wentz is coming up with that fancy chroma key now in his home. Matt, how's the forecast look?
Well, Jay, it's not as fancy as our CSU cam. If you take a look at Cleveland right now, it's a pretty quiet day. But our electric bill, I can't wait to get it next month, Jay. It's going to be interesting. A couple things we're tracking. System coming out towards the west. This is going to scoot across the country as we get through the week. We'll take you over the next 7 days, and I've got some good news in the forecast as well coming up.
Hey there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And we turn now to the man who is the envy of all the weather nerds at Channel 3. That would be Matt Wentz, who gets his own green screen in his basement. Dude, you got the hookup.
Yeah, this is the ultimate man cave, Betsy. I'll tell you what, I can barely even hear the kids stomping around out there. Here's the deal, Bets. You know, before when we were doing it, you know, I used my iPhone and all that, and the possibility of something going wrong was like maybe 10%. Now there are so many HDMI cords and lights and connections that I think we'll probably get on air about 10% of the time from down here. It should be pretty amazing. So
I think after this you're going to be, you know, floated over to the engineering department from time to time.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I deserve zero credit for this, by the way. Adam Kenny and Chris Coons, the whole engineering staff, their brain is way beyond where I am for sure. So I have to thank them for this. This is really a lot of fun here at home. I have to wear pants now, though. I'm a little upset about that. Let's talk good news in the forecast. I know we've got clouds. You know, we've got good news with the Browns, but let's talk sunset times. Tonight, 5:10, 5:17 next week. Look at this. We're gaining daylight. By the end of the month into early February, we're way beyond 5:30 as we're going to start to gain up to 2 minutes of daylight by February. How about that? This is when we really start to turn things around. The problem is we can't see the sun because we've had these clouds around. We call this the Cleveland crud for a reason. It just sticks around. The low clouds tend to linger here. And this is the cloud cover over the last week and a half or so. You can see the percentage of sunshine we've had. Just a couple sun peaks here and there. Otherwise, we have just been locked into the clouds. And that will continue to be the case tonight. There's a little clearing coming in from the west, but it's not going to last long. You probably won't notice it. Temperatures, though, with the clouds, you don't get the heat going back out to space. So temps are pretty steady, and that's where we're going to be. A couple flurries out there on the big board, especially up towards Lake Ashtabula County earlier today. Otherwise, we've been clear, and you can see the big picture across the country. It is quiet. System off the eastern seaboard will continue to head that way. We'll watch this system here kind of skirt by. It's just a wind shift. It will bring some snow showers and maybe mix with some rain tomorrow as that slides by. But the bigger weather player is way out west. The west getting a big system that will split into two. One will head south this week. The other heads off to the north. So until then, with your National Design Hour by our forecast, you can see we're pretty quiet. Clouds, that lighter gray you see, that's hanging tough. We could have some flurries tomorrow as that system moves through. You can see as we go through time, this is about 3, 4 in the afternoon. It starts to kick off, just some snow showers. Not expecting anything in terms of accumulation. And temperatures, well, they're going to be in the 30s. So if we do have any snow, it's not going to do much on area surfaces. Otherwise, we've got a pretty similar day expected on Wednesday. As we go through time, though, you can see as we take a look ahead, there goes that system. Here comes that one from the west. It's going to slide down towards the south. This will miss us to the south. They may have snow in Tennessee, maybe a couple inches in the mountains, but again, that misses us as we go through the Thursday, Friday, so we settle back into a quiet pattern for the weekend. But then next week, things get interesting. We'll watch the system to the south. Models kind of diverge on what that does, but yeah, you see it there. We could perhaps be dealing with our next system of consequence across the area. Till then, boy, relax, meteorologists in Northeast Ohio. Union Home Mortgage forecast here. You can see we've got the clouds locked in. Here come the sun peaks as we get into the weekend. And then we're talking by next Monday, we could be dealing with some impacts from that system off to our south. But other than that, we'll enjoy a pretty quiet week.
Oh, that's so good. I mean, we have the clouds. We know the clouds stick around. We always kind of joke about it, but it can be something that gets to a lot of people. So make sure you try and get outside and at least get some fresh air at the very least. All right, Matt, thank you so much. We'll see you coming up again on Front Row.
Well, just because 2020 is now officially behind us doesn't necessarily mean we're leaving all the stress and the pains of last year in the past, too. In his The New You series, our Jason Fraser has shown us the importance of self-care, and today he's taking a look at how chiropractic medicine can actually help with stress and healing.
The sound of cracking bones is the first thing that comes to mind whenever I think of visiting a chiropractor. But Dr. Andrew Bang from the Cleveland Clinic's Wellness Center says it's a bit more complex than that.
If you've ever looked up on the internet, there is a million chiropractic videos. And some of it is true because you feel clicking and popping when you get adjustments. But what you don't see on there is the thorough exams that we do, the checking of your nervous system to make sure you don't have any bad nerves, irritated nerves.
The goal of chiropractic treatment, according to Dr. Bang, is to alleviate discomfort and allow your body to do some self-healing. It can also be used to correct joint pain and help you with posture.
We're going to be doing exercises and stretches and changing your activities of daily living.
Dr. Bang told me that I suffered from what he sees a lot more of during this coronavirus pandemic, tightness in my lower back and hamstrings. He says it comes from sitting a lot.
We're all athletes. It just depends on what our sport is. You know, I was joking with you, you're a desk jockey. That's your sport. Your body wants to adapt to the stress that's put on it. So your hamstrings are tighter than normal. Your back is tighter than normal because you sit so much.
His philosophy is motion is lotion. He encourages patients to try and move as much as possible.
The reason that stretching is so effective is that muscles move your bones. Bones don't move on their own.
So we immediately got started using some stretches that I admit did feel uncomfortable at first.
I tell all my patients, hey, you might feel some soreness, but you'll feel the difference because it's not going to be that same pain you've been experiencing. I'm going to have you actually resist me. So you're going to push toward me with your shoulder and up with your knee. And we call this an isometric resisted stretch. You feel that?
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to push your leg into my arm.
Whew. I must admit, after the appointment, I felt like a new man. The pain went away, and my favorite part of the appointment was the massage. And while it was comforting, I learned it was also necessary to get the muscles to relax.
And you're going to pull yourself to stretch that low back. You feel that stretching?
Yes. Dr. Bang recommends stretching for several minutes each day and suggests always doing some type of stretching after a workout or while you read an email. One simple stretch anyone can do is from your chair.
We're going to be stretching out the hamstrings, which were tight on you. Yep. You're going to do that by crossing one leg over the other. And then you're going to lean forward and show me where you feel that stretch. Yeah, all through there. If we can relax the hamstrings, that will take pressure off of your low back.
Oh yeah, a lot of stretching. So since my last appointment, I've been hearing my bones creak a little bit more, but Dr. Bang says that is normal. And as always, before you start a new regimen, it is always encouraged, Jay, for you to talk, of course, to your doctor. Now, I know a number of you have been asking me for a lot of information about how you can get involved in a similar program like this one, or how you can see some other stories. You can always check out our website, WKYC.com/newyou. We have created a whole website that lists not only some of the recipes that I've covered during the series, but also you can see me doing some acupuncture as well as yoga. And we're still trying to get Jay Crawford to do a little bit of yoga as well.
I've tried yoga a couple of times, and let's just say it's not my kind of workout. I like to lift heavy things. I like to have to really work up a sweat, and I know you can sweat doing yoga, especially if you do it right. I just never really enjoyed it. By the way, I love that saying, motion is lotion. It's simple, it's easy, and it's so true. You know, the worst thing you can do is to just be stagnant, to be, sitting there doing nothing. So movement is always good.
Yep. No, I'm in full agreement. And you know what? I definitely have found myself sitting a lot more during the pandemic. But, now that I've been doing this series, I'm like every 5 or 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, we got to move. We got to move.
All right. It works. We got to move too, Jason. Thank you so much. These reports have been very enlightening. We'll see you soon. Betsy?
Well, coming up for us next on What's New, there is a lot of trolling happening with the Browns. What some players did to get back at Steelers after the game. And then coming up a little bit later, a cold puppy and a warm-hearted officer. We'll show you something good. It's a rescue story that you don't want to miss.
I do. Okay. Oh, I forgot you haven't, are you asking me for a mic check? I don't think I gave you one yet. Sorry, it was kind of garbled. Jay, there might be a great backstory behind that game-winning play from the Browns. Cool. Happy New Year.
Every day on What's New, we tell you what's clicking in Cleveland. And today, Stephanie Haney, I have a hunch it's going to be about the Cleveland Browns. By the way, Stephanie, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, Jay, and happy Victory Monday. And your hunch is right. It's all about the Browns. Happy Victory Monday to everybody at home. There could be a great backstory behind that game-winning play. Baker Mayfield clinched the playoffs with a quarterback sweep, and the Browns call that play Maserati. Now, what does a very fancy car have to do with anything? Well, 2 years ago, Fox Sports host Colin Cowherd said Baker was a Mazda in the NFL, not a Maserati. And when someone is the #1 draft pick, he wants them to be a Maserati. Now, Cowherd has been one of Baker's biggest critics, so if that was a nod to that comment, it couldn't be more perfect. And that is the exact level of petty that I want from my Cleveland Browns playoff team, and so is this. The Browns had their own TikTok dance after Sunday's win to the Corvette Corvette song on linebacker Mac Wilson's Instagram Live. Now, notice the masks, by the way. This is the same dance the Steelers did last week after beating the Colts to clinch the AFC North title without masks, might I add. And it's the dance Steelers wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster has been doing after wins all season, but he wasn't dancing last night. And with the Browns going to the playoffs for the first time since 2002, we had to ask all of you how far you think they'll go. Right now, about 42% of you think the Browns will be out this weekend. Ouch. After that, it's pretty close to an even split between making it to round 2 and just a little less for going all the way to the Super Bowl. LeBron James expects more. He wants to see the team go further than this weekend's wildcard round. And UFC heavyweight champ Stipe Miocic is cheering on the team. Former offensive tackle Joe Thomas says there's more work to be done. And former quarterback Bernie Kosar is happy to see the drought is over after almost 2 decades. You know Drew Carey has to chime in, calling out high school seniors who have never seen the Browns in the playoffs. But did you know Arsenio Hall is from here? He is, and he said that win was just like watching the Cardiac Kids. And it really was. You know, on my Twitter account, I've been predicting a Super Bowl win for the Browns since the Steelers lost to Washington in Week 13, Jay. So that's where I'm at. But I have to say, whatever happens, I wasn't ready for the season to end, and I am glad that we are still in it.
Yeah, you and me both, and I hope your prediction is correct. Stephanie, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.
On the other side of the break, watch the moment a police officer rescues a stranded puppy in a creek. It's pretty cute. And then on What Matters Most at 6, how the backlog of mail at the post office is affecting your bank account. We'll be right back.
Hey, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check, mic check. I'm Laura Queso. I gotcha.
Hello. Hello. Mic check, Monica, 1, 2, 3, 4. But don't worry, more vaccine is being made, and we will.
Hello, mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. This is Romney tuning in for the 6 o'clock live shot on the t-shirts.
Hey, what's up, buddy? How are you? Same to you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Brandon's microphone, we're talking about still the Postal Service. I didn't think this story would still exist when I came back.
Great, thank you. Hey, Al, how are you? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, we love to end on a good note, and our show is Something Good comes from our friends in New York. This boxer got loose from his owners, and he was stranded in a creek, and an officer made it through waist-deep, frigid water to the puppy. Eventually, he was able to pull the dog out of the water, who was taken to a vet for a checkup before reuniting with its owners. Poor little baby got out there and probably like, wait a minute, I have messed up. I don't know what to do. And thank goodness that officer was there to help out.
Thank goodness indeed. That's it. We're out of time. We're back tomorrow at 5. We hope to see you then. What Matters